Hey guys, it's Lauralee from Personal Cook Lauralee coming back with you. I know it's been a while. I hope everybody's doing well and everyone's having a good holiday. I am here today to share my empanada recipe. Tomorrow I will be going to my daughter's school and helping out with their Christmas party or holiday party. And I'm going to bring some in for them. Last time I went to my daughter's school and I went into the Great American Teach-In, and I was able to share some of my past work experience with the children there and her classmates, and I was able to meet great, wonderful children there. I love my daughter's teacher. I know that she's in a definitely good school and getting good information. So I will be sharing this information with them tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like. And again, if you ever tried this recipe and you don't like it, always know that you can be the master of your own recipe and switch things in and out. Okay? So come with me. Alright guys, so this is how I do my empanadas. What I did is I went to, this time I went to Publix and I got about a pound of ground chuck. It is 80-20. If you're trying to watch your diet or, be careful with all the fatty stuff, then you can do like a 93% lean, 7% fat. But for the empanadas, I like to have it 80-20 just because I don't want it to dry out. And so I do drain some of the oil once I cook it, but it really does give it some flavor. And again, this is going to be cooked on the stove top and then going to go into the empanada and be baked, so I don't want that to dry out. Alright, so we have 2 pounds and I will be making 20 discs, and this is what I use. I do not bake, so I just go ahead and cheat, but it is worth it. I use the yellow Goya discs. I think they have a lot more flavor. There are also a white kind, and the white kind I don't really care for. And for the empanadas, I think that one is better for a dessert. But these are the ones I usually use. Okay, so in my empanadas, what I do is I use some garlic. I usually thin chop this. And I'll go ahead and just do that real quick right now, and I'll cut it even shorter, smaller, into smaller bites. With empanadas, I mean, I pretty much grew up with eating empanadas my whole life. And my mom used to make them, my aunt Tata used to make them, and I would always love when they were homemade and prefer them homemade because my family, my mom and my aunt, they will really make sure that there was a lot of beef in the empanada. A lot of their Spanish restaurants, they may have good flavor, but it was like you open up, the empanada looks so nice and big, and when you bite into it, you barely had any meat. It was all air. So that's not how I make my empanadas, and certainly that's not how I want somebody to eat my empanadas. I want somebody to bite into it, whether it's an appetizer or eating for a meal, that it will be very satisfying. All right. And then to that, I'm just going to put this to the side. I also add an onion. You can use a white onion, you can use a purple onion or a red onion, however you want to call it. But this is what I do. I usually use a whole one because there's 2 pounds. Otherwise I use about a half. Depending, I always, change things up, taste. Sometimes I feel like I really want more onion flavor. Sometimes I kind of want to scale it back. And so if I want to scale it back, I use a half, and if not, a whole onion. But this is about a medium to large size onion. Alright, and so I'm making this for kids tomorrow, so even though I do have 2 pounds, I'm going to scale it back just a little bit. Kids maybe mouths or tongues have not really been developed, but everybody's taste buds are different, but usually onions are not a favorite of kids. So I'm going to cut these out very, very tiny. Alright, let me just move this out the way. But it really does, onion can have a very strong smell. Some onions are stronger than others. Not too long ago I had my daughter's birthday party and I used just a half an onion, and it was so strong I was crying, and everyone in the party was just basically, eyes were burning. So you just never know what you're going to get with the onions. But usually when you cook them down, they do turn sweeter, and that raw, strong taste dies down, and you just get just really good, smooth and onion flavor, but not feeling like it's a punch in the face. Alright, I'm going to cut those down a little bit more after too. And then the other thing that I always use is peppers as well, right? But what I put in my empanadas is also culantro, and this can be found, let's make sure you can see this. Yeah, okay. This can be found in Publix in many different grocery stores. If I don't have culantro, I use recao, which is very similar to this in flavor, and it just gives it a much just fresh and potent taste, but not overpowering. All right, we're gonna cut those out. And so I started cutting some of the culantro. I'm gonna finish this up. And then of course the other thing I use fresh is cilantro. I will make another video in the future soon about how I make my sofrito. Sofrito, I have it here. I made some before. It's frozen, and it's still a lot of the vegetables that I'm using now. And what we do is just make sure that we put it in a blender, mix it on in, and you'll have it. This sofrito is used in a lot of Puerto Rican or Latin cooking, and it's used for seasoning meats, especially rice, arroz con gandules, you know, it's rice with pigeon peas. So good, so delicious, full of flavor, and again, very healthy because it's just all vegetables pretty much. Everybody makes their different, you know, I'll put my recipe, and again, next time you try it, see what works for you, what you like or don't like, and change it up. All right. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put this in the pan, but before I put this in the pan, I wanted to show you my seasonings that I usually do. And when you're cooking Puerto Rican food or Latin food, adobo is used all the time, or mostly all the time. And I mentioned before, I don't measure, but for this sake and to help the children make this at home, I did. And so what I did was each of the ingredient, the seasonings, excuse me, that I have here were a half a tablespoon. Okay, and that's what I use for measurements. Each of these are a half a tablespoon. This is adobo. This is cumin. This is sazon, which looks like this. Turmeric and Montreal steak seasoning, and also chili. This is how I always make it. I always like the Montreal. It's not really in Latin cooking or Puerto Rican cooking, but I found that using this, I don't always have to add more salt. All of these always have salt, right? But and salt is good to flavor food, and you want to layer your food when you're cooking it, but I also want to live for a long time and don't want to have high blood pressure. So with this, it kind of covers a lot of the seasonings, and that's what works for me. So I chopped everything up, all the vegetables. So we have the fresh culantro, the garlic, the green pepper, the orange pepper, and I only use half. If I was cooking for home, I would have used the whole thing, but these are the first time that the kids are going to be trying this tomorrow, so I want to make sure that it's not overpowered. But feel free to use the whole peppers. And now what I'm going to do is just chop up the cilantro. It's just a handful. Again, I didn't measure it, but just grabbed a handful of it. So it's about your hand of a fist. Always wash everything before, sometimes during, and just go ahead and slice it up. And right before I put the empanadas together, usually what I do is just cut up a little bit more and put some more on there. So again, this is a lot of veggies, and this usually makes your empanadas go a longer way. So again, it could be pretty healthy. Again, I mentioned before, I pretty much always bake everything. It's very rare that I fry it at home. I really have to be in the mood to do that. But if I do fry, usually I just go and buy it from somewhere. I don't like my house smelling like oil. Don't mind my house smelling like yummy food, but not like oil. Alright, so I am cooking the meat on the stove top, and I am adding one of the packet of the ground beef. That's one. And here comes two, and we're just going to go ahead and let that brown a little bit. Always wash your hands when you're cooking with raw meat. And then we're going to go ahead and cook that. I have that on a 4 or 5. Just going to brown that for a bit. Just mix it all around. And then once it's cooked down, in a minute, you'll see that I'll go ahead and add the vegetables and then the seasonings. So this is the fat that came out of the meat. Usually if it's a little bit less, I don't take it out, but this is a lot, so I will be draining this out. And usually the way that I do that is I just take now I can't think of the name, but what the stuff they use for the pasta to drain it and put the meat in there. I have not seasoned it or seasoned this meat or put any vegetables, so that's what I'll just do, just kind of drain it out to catch any of the meat. Okay, you don't want to eat all that, but still, if the meat is still moist enough that you can season it and it won't dry out while it bakes. So this is what I use. This is my strainer, and basically I just put the meat in here and then just pushed everything out. This wasn't too bad. I mean, that was still a little too greasy, which I didn't want to let that sit in the meat and then cook. Obviously, when you eat something, you want to enjoy it and not have heartburn or tummy aches afterwards. Right, so my meat is nicely browned. You see that? I'm going to add all of the vegetables I cut up earlier. Just the garlic, the cilantro, the culantro, the onions and peppers. Push that all in right there. It smells so good right now. I truly hope that these kids will enjoy this tomorrow and appreciate this food. Right. Yum. Okay, and then I am going to add a little bit of the vinegar. Okay, that's 2 pounds, so I'm going to add, let's see. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar. I'm going to add that in there. And then my seasonings. Okay, that's my cumin, my adobo, my chili, sazon, turmeric, and a little bit of the Montreal seasoning. So here we go. Okay, and we're going to mix this around. I am going to do a little taste testing. See this over here. Let me just try a little bit of this. Very good. It tastes so delicious. Not too salty. The flavors are very well balanced. The vegetables are nice and tiny, not tiny, but small for the children. I think they'll be able just to be able to appreciate the flavors. And then this is the sofrito. It's frozen. I use about this much because it's so flavorful. Sometimes if I feel like I didn't season enough, I put maybe a little bit more sofrito, but I think that will be just perfect for the amount that we're working for. Excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this in, and then I'll show you how I put them together. And again, with our empanadas, what we do like to do is use cheese. When we're making it for some family or for children, we use regular cheddar cheese. But sometimes me and my husband want something spicy, so we'll use like a habanero cheese or like a really chili cheese, and we put it in, mix it in. Growing up, I didn't do that. I never had it like that. It was just the meat and the empanada, but I really like cheese, and that's how I make it for me and my family. I'm adding just a little bit of the cheddar cheese. Yes, 2 cups. I'm just probably putting about a cup, maybe a little bit more than a cup in there, but that would be more than enough. So you kiddos, you classmates, I hope you guys try this, and when you do, let me know how you like this, okay? And let me know if you would change anything from this recipe or add. Okay, so here are the empanadas. They just came out of the oven. These are already cooled. These are cooling down, and they went into the oven on a 400 degree, about 8 to 10 minutes. Have about 5 more to go. Alright, so I still have the last 5 empanadas cooking in the oven, and I was left with this meat right here. So what I'm going to do is I just use the pie crust, the store-bought pie crust, and I'm going to put a little chili powder, and a little bit of cumin powder, and rub that up. Usually I put them in little baggies. But right now I'm just going to try to use the rest of this up. Mix this in. Flip this over, and I'm going to cut this in 4ths. Or almost in 4ths. So this is the leftover meat with the leftover pie crust. I forgot to show you this with what I did with the other empanadas. So basically, you just kind of cover it over. See, the seasoned side is out, and all you're going to do is take your fork and just kind of squish it together and stomp them, not stomp them, but squish them down like this. So you can enclose it. I don't know if you can see it very well here. I'll try this one. Flip it over. Let's see if I can get a better picture of that. To adjust the camera a bit. So fold it over like so. Make sure all the sides are closed. Kind of clip. Squeeze them together to close it in. And then all I did was do a little egg wash, water, oil, eggs of course, and a little cumin, and kind of cover this over, and then they'll come out nice and golden as you saw before. So I'll repeat the rest of them and I'll show you. This is actually the second batch, so see the meat and the vegetable goes a long way. I actually cooked it for my husband already, so this is the second batch, the leftovers from the 2 packs of 2 pounds of meat, and he said it tastes just like a empanada chicken pot pie. So I highly suggest it, okay? And just to show you the finishing results, of the crust empanadas, if you will. This is the second batch. Like I said, it made so much. I was able to do all 20 and 2 type crust turned and cut into 4s. So this is the other half of it. And as I say, this is going to be my husband's lunch tomorrow. But he said it tasted like a chicken pot pie or like a beef pot pie, but it was more of a course of the empanada pot pie. So, you know, again, feel free to always change things up. You can do always Latin flavors, Italian flavors, Indian flavors. Ground chicken goes very well with this as well. Lamb, always switch it up and try something different. So again, just for the egg wash, it was egg, water, some Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of cumin. And that's kind of the nice flavors that you see over the crust. So again, hope you enjoyed. Please comment, please share, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. See you soon. Everyone, thanks again for watching, but a big shout out to my daughter's classmates. They did this for me last time when I went into class. I was able to show my daughter's recipe that will be coming to you guys very shortly. She has her honey mustard sauce that she will be showing along with her special ranch rice. So thanks you guys, thanks so much. Thank you for the love. This was so wonderful. I feel all the love and feel so appreciated. You guys are very special, very smart group of kids. Thanks so much.